Welcome to E.G. and Friends. My name is Eldon Killian, and today we are going to be talking with my good friend, Eric Herman.
Hello,
Welcome,
with
welcome.
my good friend Eldon Killian.
Yes, Eric Herman, the illustrious and stupendous and gray-maned,
Stupendous.
stupendous,
Okay,
stupidness.
that's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
the good one. Anyway, before we get started here, Eric, what makes you worthy of talking to here on this fine show?
Do you have anybody else
No,
to talk to?
so
No.
that's
Well, there
it.
you go.
That's it. Let's
Well,
let's rephrase the question. What makes you interesting in a more positive light? I
I
didn't get
don't
used to
know.
talking to you more nicer. So there we go.
You did say you would be making fun of me, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I've been into gaming for many, many years, and through some connections, I have some history with the Dice Tower thing. I
Uh
did
huh.
the theme songs for Tom Vassell and Eric Summerer and all those guys, and really enjoyed making fun of them.
Yeah.
That was a particular pleasure. Um, we've known each other for I don't know 5, 6 years, maybe longer, in our game group,
Yeah, so the
and
funny thing about I've joined that game group. I think it's about 8 years now, but we did not play a game together for probably a
oh,
good year. So yeah, see you around, but never talk to you. But anyway, I talk to you more now.
I would travel a lot, and then maybe once a month or every other month, you guys are there twice a month usually
Yeah,
when they have them. And then there's four tables, so we're bouncing around. But
yeah,
eventually we played together, and I think you destroyed me at
yeah.
I can't remember, but
Oh, I'm sure I did. No, I think the very
oh,
first game I played with you was Kemet.
oh, no, I might have won that. That's
I
right.
know I know I didn't win. There's a good story there. I don't know if we have time to tell it today, but um, Eric,
I do remember the first
other,
time we played the game that we're talking about today,
yeah, we'll talk
and
about
and
that.
you might want to look up who won that time.
I just play for fun. That's what I tell myself
Me
after
too.
every loss.
I think that's I've played it over 20 times now, and I think that's one time I won, and I think one other time. So I've
Yeah.
lost
Um,
eventually.
I did want to talk just a little bit about your day job, if you can call it a day job, more of a night job, maybe. I don't know.
More of the day,
Yeah, more in the
sure.
day. So what is your big day job? Because you're the most fun person I know. I think who has the most fun day job.
Uh, it is a fun job, as jobs go. It
Yeah.
rarely feels like a job. I do music for kids and family, I guess you would call it, or it's called, and yeah, pretty much elementary age and younger, right?
Yeah.
But probably a wheelhouse is like 4 to 9 or something like that. That's kind of my thing, and I play comedic music once in a while. There's something more touching or whatever, but
Uh huh.
it's a mix of styles too. That's what attracted me to doing that in the first place. Was I realized, oh, you can play all kinds of different styles of music. You can include comedy and characters and theatrical stuff.
Right.
And once I realized that, I was like, oh, this is going to be really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
People had been telling me before that point, because I played other music and bands and coffee shops, singer songwriter kind of stuff for many years, and people said, "Oh, you should do stuff for kids," and I poo-pooed that for quite a while because I said I don't want to be Barney or some kind of thing like that, right?
Yeah.
But when I realized, no, you can do all kinds of fun stuff, and I said, "All right, I'll try it." 18 years later, it's pretty much all I've done for 18 years. So,
That's awesome. And you are, I don't know, maybe we call you one of the early YouTube stars. Would you call yourself that?
I guess I wouldn't call myself that anymore.
No.
Back in 2008, yeah, I was featured on there, and it was a big thing for a while,
Yeah.
and it's still, um, 12, 13 years later, I still benefit from it in various. People still know me from that.
Well, I watch the Elephant Song every day. Not really, but
Yeah.
I watched it just the other day, like not in preparation for anything. I just like I was showing some kid or whatever. Hey, my friend does this.
Yeah. Oh, cool, cool.
Yeah.
No, it was an amazing thing, and through various circumstances, we didn't feed it as well as we might have, and
Right.
because that's the thing these days. Like if you have a thing on YouTube, you gotta keep putting stuff out, right? There's got to
Yeah.
be that consistency, and for various reasons, some in my control and some very much not. We weren't able to maintain that, but like I said, it's still been a wonderful thing,
How
new
many?
stuff coming out next year. So hoping to reconnect, that or find that audience again, or their
Right.
friends, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm curious because I could look this up, but Mike, I'm curious about a different thing. Do you know how many views the Elephant Song has right now? Roundabout.
Roughly like 35,274,522. No, I don't know.
This morning.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just curious to know whether you kept track of how far it was, but
For years, I haven't really paid that much attention to it. I know a few years ago, I determined that my channel has, I don't know, 60 million or something, but combined with other things where people have shared it and stolen it, or
Yeah.
stuff on their channels, it's been over 100 million
oh dang,
in various forms, So,
that's crazy.
but
Anyway,
then again, cat playing piano has like 4 billion.
right, and Mr. Beast gets 100 million a video.
Yeah. Right. What used to, 12 years ago, it was significant that I hit 1 million. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, and really it was,
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it was pretty good money, and I'm not gonna deny that it was a wonderful thing. But today, even like 1 million doesn't seem like that much, because
Right.
people have 100 million subscribers now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know?
It's crazy. Anyway,
They could literally burst into a video for 5 seconds, and that would get 1 million views.
And I would talk about this all day, but we do have an agenda, so let's go ahead and keep going.
Yeah.
Today, we are going to talk about my series, games I've played 20 times or more, and today we're going to talk about Quacks of Quedlinburg. Yes.
Talk some quack.
Talk some Quacks.
Man.
So really quickly, so Quacks of Quedlinburg, published by in 2018 by Schmidt Spiel, designed by Wolfgang Warsch, and Wolfgang Warsch since 2018 has been on fire. Like he has a bunch of games.
What else he's done?
But in 2018, prior to 2018, I don't think he had anything published. And then in 2018, he had 3 games that were nominated for the Spiel des Jahres or the Kenner Spiel. He had 3 of the 6 nominations. And then since then, he's been putting out different games since then. So it's 2020, but that was just crazy. Anyway, Quacks of Quedlinburg was ranked number 71 on Board Game Geek earlier this week when I put this together. Has a rating of 7.8. I rank it number 18 of all my games of all time from the series I just did in October. How about you? Where would you slot it in, you think?
I haven't really done my top 100 of all time or anything, but I think the most significant thing I would say is that it's probably number 1 of the last 2 years.
Oh.
Of all the games that have come out in the last year, it's my favorite that I've played.
Yeah.
In that time frame but I haven't played
as much as you used to. Yeah.
Out. And there may even be better games, but as far as just my favorite, just fun, really accessible and one I'll always want to play, I would say that's probably number 1. I don't know that I can't slot it all time. I mean, I could, I guess, if I went through it probably wouldn't. It would need some longevity over another few years for me to say, okay, it's gonna hit top 10 or something like that.
Do you track your plays at all? You're just
not even remotely consistently. Like every once in a while, I'll play a game with some friends or something. Oh, that was an awesome game. Oh, I want to record that. So
Yeah.
and then meanwhile, there were 12 other games in between there that I totally didn't. So,
I try to be super consistent. That's why I can give you these numbers or whatever.
yeah,
But anyway.
I have to ask you about what was that game we played? 8 months
Right.
ago?
All right. And I've played this game 20 times according to my records. I did lose a little bit of data one time when I swapped phones, and I almost feel like I lost some plays because I could have sworn I played this more than that. But I have 20 plays because last night I made sure to play it because I knew you wanted to talk about it today. So.
Yeah, I feel reasonably confident that I've played it at least 20 times.
Yeah.
The last year we played it a bunch, my family and friends.
Yeah.
And I think me and you played it 3 or 4 times before that point. I'm reasonably certain I've hit 20.
Yeah. And I kind of alluded to this earlier, but this is just won a bajillion awards. It won the Kennerspiel in 2018. It won the Hungarian Board Game Awards in 2019. The Goldbricken, which is prestigious.
Prestigious Hungarian.
Yeah. Well,
It probably is.
yeah, Kennerspiel is probably the biggest award it won, which is like they call it the Connoisseur Gamer Game of the Year in Germany, as opposed to the Spiel des Jahres. It just one of those other ones. Best New Designer from the Dice Tower. Anyway, all those that you see. Best Family Game from Golden Geek. It won award this year in the Origins Award, which I think is funny. How sometimes the awards lag a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah, Origins has gotten better about their awards, but they're still kind of like a weird
Right.
mix sometimes. Yeah.
No, the funniest thing I noticed was when I did my video on Catan. When I went through, I was looking for all the awards that Catan won, which is all of them. No, but it won an award like in 2015. Like somebody was like, we need to give Catan an award. Like not the expansion, the base game. I can't remember what the organization was, but
we just discovered this game, and we need to give it an award.
Basically, yeah. Anyway, so the game. It basically goes like this. You have a bag and it has some chips in it. You pull them out, and then you complain about the chip, and then you put it in your cauldron, and you fill it up. And it's a push your luck game. So if you get too many of the white ones, when you pull them out, you kind of bust and you lose some stuff. But then you do some evaluations, and then you can purchase some new ones, and then you do it again 9 times. You do that over and over again, and you're just trying to score the most points. And thematically, it's like making the best, like snake oil, in some big festival or whatever. But that's the game. It's a push your luck game where you're trying not to get too much numbers and trying to create the best value potion using different ingredients. Anyway, that's the game. Like I said, I don't like to talk about it too much.
By the way, thematically, I realized today I was looking back through the rule set or the almanac or whatever, and made some notes here that we always call them the blue ingredient or the red ingredient, but they have names. Blue is crow skull, red is toadstool, and my favorite is what is it? Black. The black ones are African death's head hawk moth.
Okay. I am.
It's important thematic connection.
Yeah, some gamers are super into theme. I am all about the mechanics of the game. I really am. Like, I do not. Sometimes the theme does help me understand like what to do in the game. But yeah, I'm just always like, the red one. I need an orange and a red.
Yeah. If there is a connection in a game where the mechanics are great and the theme also connects, then that's wonderful. But I agree with you. I can have a stupid theme as long as the game is interesting to play mechanically.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I already got there. So the first time you played the game, what was? Tell me about your first time.
Well, maybe you can tell me about the first time. Like, for example, who won that first time?
I do not.
Tell me that.
I do not recall. I'd have to look at my records.
I recall.
You recall. Did you record it, though? Did you record it? Does it count?
Yeah, we played it at our game group, and it was me, you, and my daughter, and I had heard of this game. I had gone to Game Storm as a convention in Portland, a few hours from where we live. Remember when you could go to things?
Yeah, when you could go places. Yeah.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, I had heard or read a little bit about it somewhere, and the name is, peculiar. Quacks, what the heck? But then in one area of the convention, there was this hallway, and I think it must have been North Star, whoever was repping the game, had it set up on all these tables, and I couldn't get into any of them. Like,
yeah,
just always people packed to try to play this. So I was like, oh, okay. And then, so I heard about it for several months, and then it also, like, the first time I looked at it, didn't, like, seemed kind of underwhelming or something. Press your luck thing. So by the time we played it, I think it was maybe several months later.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, here's that. Yeah, I've been wanting to play this, but I also wasn't super eager to play it per se. But then I loved it, the first time I played it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Love it first sight.
Yeah.
And maybe there's the thing about you win the first time, you slightly more.
Well, I don't think I won the first time. So the first time I played it was actually at 2018 Board Game Geek Spring Convention, where the Spiel des Jahres people bring all their nominated games. And they have them set up all the time, and you can just play them. And this was maybe one of the first or second game I played of the convention. It was super early, the very first day. I woke up, I walked in there, and they were kind of setting up, and there was a guy there at the table, and he's like, "Hey, I'll teach you the game." And one of the things about BGG Spring I enjoy is getting to play all those games. So I make a point to go play them all during the convention. Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, so I popped in there, and the guy was telling me the story, and we played the game. And after the second round, I was like, this game is fun. And we played, and we're just learning. Anyway, that weekend was 4 days of gaming. And I hang around those tables quite a bit, but every time I walked by and somebody was looking at it and there wasn't somebody to explain, it was like, I'll explain that game to you. And I hopped in. I played twice with these drunk people in the middle of the night. Because I was walking by, I wasn't ready to go to bed, and they're like, "Do you want to play?" And he had this wine that he was hiding in his little bag, and him and his friend were drinking. I was like, "Yeah, I'll play."
Well, he had to spend that wine. One of his white chips back in the bag.
Yeah, so I was enamored with this right away. I think at that point they didn't even North Star hadn't announced that they picked it up yet, or maybe it was during the convention that was announced. So it was just all in German still, and they hadn't brought it over in English yet, and so
I think that would have been roughly the same time, spring of 2018. Maybe it was 2019 that.
I think it must have been 2019 because BG Spring is in May.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the following year, the spring, when it had hit America just barely.
Yeah, and it took a long time for it to come. Yeah, and because I got it for Christmas in that year, whenever it came out, 2018. That was one of the gifts my wife gave me because it was finally available.
I think we would have played it maybe November of 2019. It was.
Yeah.
After that point.
Yeah. Anyway.
The past year, we both played it a bunch. So.
Yeah. I like it. So what makes you want to go back and play the game? What are the elements of the game that are most fun for you?
So part of it is it's just fun regardless, but I think what's the brilliant thing is how they make it variable and with the different ingredients and potions, so, and it really does change things up a little bit, not significantly, but enough that you want to try this game and you want to try out this new potion or this combination of ingredients or something, And it's always that thing with Press Your Luck games. There's 9 rounds. Having played this enough, you are gonna bust badly on probably at least 2 of those rounds.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Right. But you can still win or do really well if you do really well on 1 or 2 or 3 of those rounds.
and it depends on the other people, Yeah, just yesterday when I played, one of my rounds was I was using the white yellow strategy, and so or trying it anyway. So in one round I pulled a white one, and then I pulled a yellow one. They're like, "Ooh, I gotta put my white one back. This is working perfectly." And then I pulled another yellow one, and then I pulled white, and busted. and it's frustrating, but also it was thrilling. It's like, because then you're like, oh, what are the odds I'm going to keep pulling whites? What are the odds? I can get some more value out of this. Most of my bag is not white at this point, but then it just happens.
Yeah, there is that aspect of it does push your luck so well in such a way that's compelling, because at a certain point you can reach in your bag and say there's 5 chips in here,
Right.
and I know only one of them will bust.
Right.
And at 4 out of 5 chance you're not going to bust, you should really go for it. And
right. Every
it
time.
Might bust you, and sometimes it does bust you, and then but
No, with my luck, whenever I make that calculation, it doesn't matter. The fact that I made the calculation means it's going to bust me.
I've even tried to do some kind of weird mojo on it, where I'm like, okay, I got a 1 in 5 chance of busting. All right, wait. This was the chip I was going to pick. I'm throwing it back and taking a different one.
That's right.
No, I should have stuck with it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know.
I love how it creates those fun moments.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here, but it would be my one criticism of the game, that in a lot of ways it's kind of multiplayer solitaire. Like, you're just doing your own thing.
Yeah.
But the way it's not multiplayer solitaire saves it, in my opinion, because you get the later rounds of the game where, you're at a point where you could bust, you pause. You're at a point where you could bust, you pause. I'm at a point where I could bust, we pause. Who's in turn order? Now it matters, right?
Yeah.
And now, are you going to draw? Yes. Okay, And then, to me, at that point, it's no longer feels like the multiplayer solitaire, and there's this great moments of tension where one at a time you decide if you're going to go. You got to kind of look around and see if that person's up to here. If I pull out the right thing, I might be able to jump ahead to win the round, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's definitely not a game where, like, you can, like, hang your, like, happiness on. Like, if you can only be happy if you're great at Quacks at Quedlinburg, you got the wrong mojo going in life. But
a fair amount of luck can depress your luck.
Right. Right. But it does feel strategic. It feels like what you buy matters in the long run, and sometimes luck just gets you, and But yeah.
Yeah, I think the luck factor is you could buy this incredible 4-moving piece, or a super pumpkin if we're talking the expansion, right?
Right.
You move 6 spaces, and you might not draw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, that's one of the last 3 chips that's left in your bag.
Or
you busted or stopped.
Or, like, for me, it's like if I ever try, like, the red pumpkin strategy, like with the basic version, where, like, the more pumpkins you get out, if you get pumpkins out early, the reds get really valuable. I always pull all the reds out first. Like, red. Oh, now my pumpkins. Oh, perfect.
It's why I almost never buy greens, just because I always have this feeling like they never come out towards the end when you, like, my first chip, green, useless.
Yeah. Although I lost.
In fact, that would be, generally speaking, that would be a criticism of the greens. Like, I think they're a little too dependent on that. So.
Yeah, and I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. Just a second.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
fine.
jumping ahead. Foreshadowing.
I lost my. Anyway. So expansions and variants. So now we can talk about it. So you have
right.
do you have herb witches?
Yes, I do.
I do not. So I actually don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any expansions. I don't have anything else to the game. I just have the base game. No, I am a little down on expansions. Like when I allocate my dollars for buying board games, I almost always want something new. Like I'm just a junkie that way. It's like, oh, what's the new thing? What's the new thing? What's the new thing? You know, it's like,
Well, I'll
but I
tell
am
you. Okay.
I do want to play some of these expansions, and so maybe we'll need to get together when we can do such
Yeah,
things.
for sure. Yeah. I'll tell you, as far as the expansion goes, it's sort of like 50-50 as far as I was going through all of the ingredients from the base game and the expansion today to pick out my favorites. I don't know if we wanted to
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
mention that or whatever. And I realized that none of my favorites are the ones in the expansion. I mean, there's only a few that they add in the expansion.
Okay.
I think there's a blue and a red one, and like it's very few, but those aren't my favorites. So that whole side of that is kind of not something I'm super crazy about. I do like the actual witches brew part of it, or the mechanic of it, where they give you get these three different colored coins, I guess, and there's I think four different abilities that are associated with each color of coin, and each game you pick one of each of those. Right.
Hmm. Interesting.
So there's a silver, a bronze, and a gold, and they're super powerful, right? But you only have one of each color to spend. So once a game, you can use each of those abilities, or keep them for 2 points at the end if you don't
Hmm.
feel you had to use them. But you almost always want to use them because they're
I always
really
spend stuff like that. Can I get points for it,
yeah.
or can I use it now? I'm going to use it now.
Well, for example, one of them, I don't remember which color. It doesn't matter, I don't think. But is when you buy an ingredient, get a second copy of that ingredient.
Oh man.
Right. So maybe mid to late game, you can afford that super pumpkin, which by the way is also in the expansion and is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You can finally afford the $22 to get a super pumpkin. Oh, I'm gonna lay it down and get two of them.
Yeah. That's
You
awesome.
know. So it also there's one where you busted, but you don't suffer any penalties. You can still win the round. You can still get
Oh.
both points and money, which at a certain point is
Yeah.
probably something you're going to use, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
And is worth more than the 2 points you'd get for not
Oh,
using that, right?
for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Just like yesterday, I had busted on I would have got like 9 points and busted and just kind of
yeah.
poor luck. And yeah, I would take 9 points over 2 points any day.
Especially the last round of the game where you don't get money, but the money turns into points. Right?
Yeah,
So that
for
would
sure.
be at least 4 or 5 points right there, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, have you ever played the flip side of the base game board, where
A
like you
couple
can move the?
times.
Yeah, I've only played it a couple times too. So kind of going back to the conversation, one reason I didn't get the expansion also is I actually haven't played with like the variant ingredients very much. I teach the game so much, and I just kind of default back to like that base. But even just playing the base game with the default ingredients, like the suggested starter set, I haven't played it out at all. Like, it's still really fun for
Yeah.
me, and because I'm always teaching new people, I kind of go back to that. Not that it would be so hard, but because I don't think anything's too complicated in the game. People can just get it. But
No, and that's you mentioned expansions and variants, and I guess I've been playing a variant uh,
an unofficial
time
and
because I didn't even look about the sets. Yeah. Well, there's supposed to be sets, right? You're supposed to look on there and the little
uh,
flags on the bottom of the ingredient cards, and only use the combinations that have the same number of flags. I never did that, so
oh
and I don't think I would anymore, like because I understand how certain ones are meant to work together, but as I've found over the last 14, 15 games or something, it certainly doesn't break the game,
no
and you can just find other interesting combinations. Although the one downside, or is there certain favorites that we have? For one thing, this past year, for some reason, we've only I've only been playing pretty much with my fiance and her kids and my kids, right? The
yeah
same group. But now we have this one blue ingredient, excuse me, crow skull,
A crow skull, yes.
the crow skull, that, pretty much if it's not there, somebody's going to complain, hey, where's that one blue one we like?
Yeah.
And it's the one where you when you place a blue one, you if it's a 1, 2, or a 4, you draw out 1, 2, or 4 chips from your bag and then decide which one, or not, or none of them. But
it's such a good power. In
is,
fact, I purposely did not play with it last night. Like, it was out, it was in the set. I purposely didn't buy it because, like, I'm just gonna do that. Yeah. So I tried to force myself to try different things, and so I tried to do the yellow, and what, like, it just didn't work out very well. But
and that's something that, personally, I think over the next few times that we play it, I'm gonna try to just move away from some of our stands just to try some of the other ones that there are a few that I've never played with.
Yeah, and there's some of them that are sort of like the green one, where it's like, it's just so situational. Like, some of the variant powers for the different colored ones, like, they're just very situational, and it's like, and it feels really hard to pull off, and with not enough payout. And maybe that's just my perception. Maybe it's balanced way more than I think it is, but
yeah, and a lot of games, there are some that are out there that you never buy. Yeah, like you said, that you just didn't buy the blue one. But I found, I think the ones that are especially situational, you almost have to really focus hard on it and get a bunch of them. Like, a lot of times, that's if you have enough green ones now, just the law of averages, you're gonna pull one out later in the thing. If you buy enough purple ones, okay, now they're gonna really pay off with those points and stuff like that. But otherwise, you can't, like, you can't nickel and dime those ones.
Yeah.
Like, you can just get a couple of blues and a couple of reds, and they'll serve you well and they'll do fun stuff. But if you can't just, I think I'll grab a yellow one and I'll grab a no, you gotta pretty go hard on those ones, right?
And the one thing, just thinking about the green one, is just remember this. It's the cheapest one, though, to get the 4. So maybe that's where the balance is. Like, you can buy a bunch of green ones and you can get that 4 chip a little faster. Anyway. When you were talking about variants that you've been playing with, I thought you were going to come up with the unintentional variant that I introduced to you, where you basically just break the rules of the game.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember if you taught it to me this way.
I'm sure I did.
The first couple times I played it when you weren't there, when I had my own copy, which I got for Christmas last year.
Nice.
Shout out to my sweetheart, who I've told, don't get me games because I've got,
Yeah.
But she got me a game, and I was like, oh yeah, wait, of course, yes, because she knew we had played it a couple times, and she knew I said how much I loved it. So it was a gutsy call, but the right call. It was awesome.
But she pulled it off.
So the first couple times we played, we were just buying whatever.
Yeah.
And then at some point I was looking for some other rule in the rule books, and I noticed, wait a minute, you can only ever buy 2 ingredients and it can't be the same one. Like, what? It seemed super limiting. But then, the more we thought about it, a lot of times you don't do more than that anyways.
Yeah.
Right? You have a limited. But I think there are definitely times when you might get something and then, you got $6 left over. I'll get 2 pumpkins.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I would maybe do, right?
Anything in this game I've ever taught wrong, I always chalk up to the fact that I learned it verbally because it was all in German. There were some paste-ups or whatever for the cards, but everything was in German, so, like, I couldn't check rules if I wanted to. And then when I got the game, like I said, I played it probably like 10 times in 4 days at least. And then teaching the game, I probably did not look over the rule book that closely when I taught it. But all right, so
speaking of German, though, I was going to mention the new expansion, but there's not a whole lot to talk about because it is only in German now.
I don't know if I even knew. I don't think I was aware that there was a new expansion.
Yeah, it's called The Alchemists, or Die Quacker Salber von Quedlinburg, Die Alchemisten.
Okay. because it's in
The
German.
Alchemists.
Yeah. You know what? I think I did see a picture of that the other day. Now that I think about it. Yeah.
It's supposed to come out in English next April, so
Okay.
we'll see. But and people have posted Google translations of some of the rules, but it's a little hard for me to kind of
Yeah.
understand. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When I first played it, I remember one of the cards flipped over, and we are like, "That can't be it." So,
No.
and you know they have the explainers there who come from Germany, and they speak pretty good English, and we talk about, you know, we were talking it out, and it's like, yeah, this fit seems super powerful, like or like it didn't quite make sense, but we figured it out. Anyway, I have a slide here that says, "What's the fun stuff?" I think we've talked about all that. We kind of talked about. Do you think this is more of a luck game or a skill game? Like, what do you?
I think it's a beautiful connection of both, a combination of both.
Yeah.
Really, and it is pretty heavy on luck, I would say. But you know, I the games where people win, and it's almost always not me. Like I said, I think I've won maybe 3 times out of the 20 something times I've played.
Yeah.
Usually it's not me, but you can see that, oh, they had a really nice combination of certain things that were kind of spurring them along. So I think, I mean, you know, people after Catan lost, you know, kind of lost its luster or whatever among gamers, you'd always see, it's too much luck in the dice and all that. But then I remember seeing something about you know, the world championships of Catan every year, they still have them, and the same people are winning all it, you know. So I mean, you know, that it's managing the luck, I think, is the thing, right?
Well, I think push your luck in general has more skill in it than the name implies.
Yeah,
like I used to
management.
I used to play Can't Stop a lot online, like because you play on like Yukata, you could play like 20 games at a time with people, and just I would just do that. And I went through a stretch where I had a really high win percentage in that game, and a lot of it's like reading your opponent. Like, are they going to be going crazy, or are they going to be conservative? If they're conservative, you can push a little harder, or you have to, I think, if you're going to win. If they're going to be really conservative, you might need to push really hard. And if they're a little crazy, if you notice, like, oh, this person's kind of crazy, dial it back a little bit, you know, because, you know, I default to pushing my luck, though. Like, I always like, I'm gonna pull this out, and it bites me in the butt a lot, and that's why I don't win so much, I don't think. But
a lot of it, I find that I especially, and this is a factor of the risk involved and what you have to weigh out when you play games like this, is later in the game, maybe round 7 or 8, I'm behind by 7 points.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a 1 in 4 shot of busting, but because I'm behind, I really should go for it. And you know, and the odds are you should go for it. You know, that is the smart move at that point. When it comes down to 50-50, all right, 2 of these, there's 4 in here, and 2 of them will bust me.
Yeah.
Maybe not, right? But I think at a certain point when you're behind, you have to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
And
I was playing with Tim one time, and I had a pretty good lead going to that last round, and so I got a little conservative. I was like, and so I stopped pretty early in that last pot.
Yeah.
And Tim, Tim's smart. He knew the numbers, and he was like, well, I just got to go for it. And he went for it, and I can't remember if he won or not, but it was really close, and it was really exciting. Like, it was like, bam. And, like, he was, like, on the verge of bust. He's like, I just got to go for it. It's like, if I stop, I lose. So, you know, it's just... And
that's one of the great things about this game, and you know, really a lot of press your luck games, is you get those moments where you're just like all hanging on this one draw, you know, and
exactly,
either cheering or swearing, you know.
Yeah.
I should mention a side note here is that I love this game so much that I have pimped it out.
Oh, have you?
And I wish my copy is not with me here.
Okay.
It's an hour away.
Yeah.
At Kim's, but I got those little. Oh shoot! You know, I have.
Did you pay for the geek up bits?
No. That's not what I did.
Okay.
I got the. I should have thought to bring. I have some downstairs. The leftovers, but I bought coin capsules.
Oh yeah. I've thought about
Right?
doing
The
that.
coin collectors, they get these little plastic things, and if you can look it up on BGG or
Yeah.
Reddit or whatever, and they'll tell you exactly the right size to get. And there's these little plastic things, and it's kind of a pain. You got to snap them apart, then stick the chip in there, and then kind of wedge it back in there. And I did that for, I don't know, 250 things, the expansion included.
Yeah.
Took me, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours
Dang.
watching TV and just sitting there doing that. But I love it though. It has this great tactile feeling when you're
Yeah.
pulling them out there.
And I don't know about your set, but one of the chips is scuffed in a way
Yeah.
that
Ooh.
if you have it, you can feel it. And
Ah.
I try to keep it away from people. Like, no, buy this one. But people. Anyway.
It would be so easy to cheat in this game if you like. Where's my 3 white chip? I'm gonna like
right.
put glue a small piece of cereal or something to it, so it has just a little.
Yeah, my stepson last night basically admitted to us that he was cheating. He was like, "No, I put it in the bag where I know where it is, and I try not to grab that as part of the bag." I was like, "It's cheating, man." Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's cheating.
I've played with people who try to use like psychic abilities on the chips and like feeling. Does this feel like the?
Yeah.
Like, and they did well, so I don't know. I can.
Yeah, I don't know.
Normally, I would scoff, but I can't.
All right. So what's the not so fun stuff?
I think like I said, the luck. I mean, there are going to be there's going to be at least one round in the game where, and it's, to me, it's especially bad when you're like 5 or 6 rounds in. You got a lot of good chips in there.
Yeah, I know.
It's still like white. Oh
yeah.
White. There's a green or something that's not that helpful, and then you bust. Like, what? That far in the game, and that was just pretty much pure bad luck, and it hosed you badly for that one round. But
yeah,
it's fun enough the other rounds that like I said, I think that's the good thing about there being 9 rounds is that,
and they're not fast. They're not long rounds. Like,
it tends to average out as far as you're going to get some really good rounds where, I pulled out all the good stuff I wanted in a way that was useful. Like the yellow ones sometimes, or the red ones, you have to have something good before it or after it or something like that. And then so sometimes you get this really beautiful run where you just you go really far, and then other times you get hosed really early, and but it's as being part of the mix. I don't even consider it a negative. It's just that in the moment, feels bad. The other thing I think is, like I said before, is there's a bit of a multiplayer solitaire feel to it, but again, you do get those rounds, especially later on, when it doesn't feel that way anymore, because now you and some or all of the other players are waiting to see what's going on. I mean, we never play with turn order until it matters.
Yeah.
Like, basically we just keep going until you could bust, and then pause and wait and see.
Yeah, and I think my one criticism of the game, but I think it's okay because it actually makes the game flow well, which is one reason I love the game, is like I'm always playing. Like, until you get to that evaluation step, I'm still interested in what's going on. I'm always playing the game, and so I'm never waiting for something. But like when you get those situations where you have like somebody who's like they just wait a long time to see what everybody else is doing, and then they'll play. And it's like, it feels like it's outside the spirit of the game, and to enforce it, I think, would make the game worse. So I think there's a trade-off there. I think that's the only thing I'd really pick at and say, like, that's what I don't like about the game. But I don't know. Final thoughts. It's a great game. That's what it comes down to.
It's just a really super fun, clever combination. Very super accessible. I mean, we've had Kim's older son had a friend from college visit. Never played it before. Up and running in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about the first round. It's so simple. Like you only have those white chips, and
Right.
you have a green and a pumpkin.
Yeah.
That are super easy to explain, and you don't even have to really describe any of the other ingredients. You just talk about, okay, try not to bust. You
Yeah.
know?
And in
then,
fact,
now we can buy stuff, and here's what you can buy, and here's what it does. It's super easy to kind of move it along. Yeah.
And I would even say the first round, you almost don't have to explain anything. Just pull those out until you want to stop. If you get to 8, if your value of white is 8, you're done. So that's what you're thinking about.
Try not to do that.
Right. But so here's my little secret. I just always bust the first round. There's like maybe like 2 points in play.
You're gonna lose a point or something.
Yeah. Like you're losing like 1 or 2 points. Like I want as much money as I can get, so I can get like what I want. I want to, so I don't even think about busting the first round. Like for reals, it's like maybe 2. You can maybe pull off like 3 points maybe the first round. Doesn't matter. Just pull them all until you bust. But I also don't win. I don't know if this. So.
It's true. Me neither. We're not experts. We're not talking about this game.
Right.
Notice there isn't a deep strategy segment here.
No.
But I almost always feel like until maybe round 7 or something, anytime you bust, you're taking the money instead of the points.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, you're like, nah, I should probably take the points. Right. And I've already built something. And it hurts to not get a couple of nice things.
Yeah.
But yeah,
for sure.
So I don't know if that's standard or not, or maybe. But I think early on you want to get chips. You want to build up your bag a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it was fun having you on. Maybe we can do it again sometime. Play another game and play another game 20 times.
Other games 20 times.
You don't have to play it 20 times. Just me. I have to play it 20 times. That's my rule.
I've played a lot of games 20 times, but I don't know if it would connect with ones you have. But
anyway, this. Thank you for coming on today. This has been E.G. and Friends, and we'll see you when I see. I need to come up with a tagline.
Yeah. Where? I'm making a YouTube video, Bev.
Okay, we're good.
All right.
Thank you. Hey, that was super fun.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
I need to stop the recording, actually.